Good day, welcome to our subject Science 9. We are now at third quarter, week 7, and our topic is constellation. Before we start our lesson, let us watch this short video about 7 steps to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. After watching this video lesson, you will be able to infer some characteristics of stars based on the characteristics of the sun, infer that the arrangement of stars in a group, constellation, does not change for a very long period of time, observe how the position of a constellation changes in the course of a night, and use charts that show which constellations may be observed at different times of the year. When we look at the night sky, we see thousands of stars. In reality, there are approximately 400 billion stars in our galaxy, and there are about 170 billion galaxies. A person can see only about 3,000 stars on the average. These stars differ in many ways. We see stars of different sizes, brightness, and color. Using figure 1. Which star is bigger, Rigel or Sirius? Can you really tell the size of the star by just looking at it? Figure 2 shows the size of the Sun, the closest star to Earth, as compared to some other stars that we see at night. As we can see, the Sun is so small compared to other nearby stars. Also, Sirius, which appeared to be bigger than Rigel in figure 1, is actually very small compared to Rigel. It appears larger only because it is closer to us.
CCT is measured in degrees Kelvin, and this temperature rating indicates what tone of white light will be emitted from the light fixture. When you hear people talking about warm white light, they're talking about a light source with a 2000 to 3000 K rating. At a temperature of 2000 K, the light will look very orange-yellow in color. As the temperature increases, the color shifts to yellow, yellowish white, white, and then to a bluish or cool white.
Star color ranges from red to blue. The color of the star indicates its surface temperature. The table shows the surface temperature and color of different nearby stars, including the Sun. Imagine that we put two flashlights in different distances. One is near and other is far. We see that the near flashlight is brighter. Then imagine we replace the far flashlight with bigger flashlight. Then it is possible that we see equal brightness. The brightness of a star as seen from the Earth depends on two factors, the distance and the actual brightness, or absolute brightness, of the star. The star's brightness as seen from Earth is its apparent brightness. Let's take Sirius and Rigel, refer to figure 1, to illustrate the effect of distance to apparent brightness. Compared to the Sun, Sirius is about 27 times as powerful as the Sun, but Rigel has the power of many thousands of suns. In terms of distance from the Earth, Rigel is almost 100 times farther away than Sirius. In terms of apparent brightness, Sirius is about twice as bright as Rigel. Sirius looks very bright when viewed from Earth because it is closer to Earth. What is a constellation? When you look at the sky, what do you see? Do you see images of animals or objects? Observers in ancient times also imagined groups of stars that form pictures of animals, objects, and people. These imaginary groups of stars are called constellations. Many of these constellations have names that can be traced back to early Babylonians and Greek civilizations, but nearly all cultures have different names for the constellations. For example, the Greeks called the large constellation Orion, which means hunter and is prominent in the night sky all over the world during winter. Early Filipinos visualized the same group of stars as balitik, a trap used in hunting wild pigs. Christian Filipinos named the three stars, Orion's belt, Tatlong Maria. By observing sun's movement and position in the sky, we can tell what time of the day it is. When it seems to rise in the east, it is morning. When it is above us, it is noon. When it seems to move towards the west, it is afternoon. At night, stars are used to tell the time. Just like the sun, stars also seem to move from east to west. An observer from Earth will be able to see the stars that are on the night side. The stars on the same side as the sun cannot be seen because sunlight overpower all the stars' lights. During summer in the Philippines, or March, the constellations of Orion and Taurus are not visible at night. They will be visible again as the cold season begins. When you look at the night sky during the month of March, the prominent constellation you see is Leo. When you look at the night sky during the month of June, the prominent constellation you see is Scorpius. When you look at the night sky during the month of September, the prominent constellation you see is Cygnus. When you look at the night sky during the month of December, the prominent constellation you see is Orion and Taurus. While constellations were associated with religion, they also have practical uses. Before the calendars, people had no way of determining when to sow or harvest except by looking at these patterns in the sky. Ancient people developed a way to remember the patterns by giving these patterns names and stories. For example, in the northern hemisphere, the constellation Orion indicates the coming of cold season. The constellations made it easier for them to recognize and interpret patterns in the sky. For example, Gemini is seen in the Philippines during the months of April and May. Farmers interpreted the appearance of Gemini as the end of planting season and it signified rich harvest. The table shows how the Matigsalag Manobo of Bukidnon used the stars and constellations in relation to their agriculture. Another use of constellations was in navigation. The Polaris is widely used in navigation because it does not change its position at any time of the night or year. Also, one can figure out his or her latitude just by looking at how high Polaris appears in the night sky. This allowed sailors to find their way as they sail across the seas. When we look at our parents, then we see that behind them are their parents, and behind their parents are other parents, and so on through many generations. The same life flows through all of them until it reaches us. You are now ready for short quiz.
Audio Jungle.
Performance task. During night time, look at the sky following the map I provided. Locate the east or the Sabang part. And locate the south or the Ascot part. Draw 3 constellations near Scorpius. You will be scored according to the following. Number 1. Accuracy of position 3 points. Number 2. Correct name of the constellation 3 points. Number 3. Submitted on time 3 points. And number 4. Neat drawing 1 point. The total point is 10 points. Our next lesson is about force, motion, and energy. Do the following in your notebook. Define the following: speed, velocity, and acceleration.